Listen to me. If you wake up the same way you did last year, you will live the same life next year. Same habits, same excuses, same dreams stuck on repeat. 2026 is not waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to decide. So hear this not casually, not comfortably, but deeply, because if you do these 6 things every morning, your life will not recognize itself by the end of the year. The moment you wake up is the most dangerous moment of your day. Not because something bad is going to happen, but because something small can happen that shapes everything that follows. That split second when your eyes open, before the world rushes in, before the noise, before the opinions, before the chaos, that moment is sacred. And most people give it away without a fight. They reach for their phone like it's oxygen. They let headlines, messages, missed calls, and other people's urgency decide the temperature of their soul. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, behind, unfocused, and disconnected all day long. You don't start your morning behind because you're lazy. You started behind because you're reactive. And reaction is the enemy of intention. If you don't choose who you are first thing in the morning, life will choose for you. And life is not gentle when it chooses. Intention is you standing up before the day does and saying, I decide who I am today. That decision made early, made consciously, changes the entire direction of your life. When you wake up with intention, you are not waiting to see how you feel. Feelings are unreliable in the morning. Feelings are emotional weather. They change without permission. Intention is a commitment that exists before emotion. It's you deciding your identity before circumstances test it. You don't wait to feel confident to act confident. You act confident and let the feeling catch up. You don't wait to feel disciplined to be disciplined. You move first. Intention is not a motivational quote. It's a standard. It's saying no matter what happens today, this is how I show up, because the world will test you early. It will rush you. It will pressure you. It will try to pull you into urgency instead of purpose. And if you haven't already decided who you are, you will fold. Intention creates stability in a world that profits from your distraction. It gives you a backbone before the day tries to bend you. There is power in speaking to yourself before anyone else does. Words shape belief, and belief shapes behavior. When you wake up and say out loud who you are becoming, you are planting a flag in your mind. Not someday, not when it's easy. Now you are telling your nervous system, your subconscious, your habits, this is the direction. And don't underestimate that. Most people talk to themselves all day long, but unconsciously doubt, criticism, fear old stories. Waking up with intention flips the script. You become the narrator instead of the victim of the story. You don't say, I hope today goes well. Hope is passive. You say, I handle whatever comes. That's authority. You don't say, I'll try to stay focused. Trying leaves room for quitting. You say, I finish what I start. That kind of language rewires how you act under pressure. You are not lying to yourself. You are training yourself. Reaction is addictive. It feels productive, but it's not. Answering messages, checking updates, scrolling feeds. It tricks your brain into thinking you're doing something important. But intention requires stillness. And stillness is uncomfortable for people who have been running from themselves. That's why most people avoid it. Sitting for even 1 minute without stimulation forces you to face your thoughts. And that's exactly why it's powerful. When you wake up with intention, you are practicing leadership over your own mind. You are saying, I don't need noise to exist. I don't need approval to move. I don't need urgency to feel valuable. That kind of self-command builds quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't announce itself, but changes rooms when it enters. Reaction makes you busy. Intention makes you effective. Reaction keeps you moving. Intention makes you progress. Waking up with intention is also about responsibility, not blame. Responsibility. It's recognizing that how you show up is your choice. Even when life is unfair, especially when life is unfair, you don't control everything that happens to you, but you control the meaning you assign to it. And meaning drives emotion. Emotion drives action. Action drives results. When you wake up and consciously decide your posture toward the day, you stop outsourcing your power. You stop letting traffic, emails, co-workers, or bad news dictate your mood. You move from what's happening to me to how do I respond to this. That shift is a difference between feeling overwhelmed and feeling grounded, between feeling behind and feeling in control. Intentional mornings build resilient people, and resilient people don't break when life applies pressure. They sharpen. This is not about perfection. This is about consistency. Some mornings will be messy. Some mornings you'll feel tired, irritated, uninspired. Intention doesn't erase that. It overrides it. It says, even like this, I show up. That's how identity is built. Not on your best days, but on your most average ones. When you wake up with intention every day, you are casting votes for the person you are becoming. One morning doesn't change your life, but hundreds of intentional mornings do. They compound into clarity. They compound into discipline. They compound into self-trust. And self-trust is everything. Because when you trust yourself, you move differently. You speak differently. You decide faster. You stop negotiating with excuses. You stop waiting for permission. You don't need the world to believe in you when you've already decided who you are. The moment your eyes open, your body is not something you drag through the day. It is the engine that carries your ambition. And the way you treat it in the morning determines how powerful you feel when pressure shows up later. Most people think motivation is mental. It's not. Motivation is physical before it's psychological. When you wake up and move your body with intention, you send a signal to your brain that says, I'm alive, I'm in control, and I'm ready. Energy doesn't come from waiting. It comes from action. You don't stretch because you feel good. You stretch so you become good. Movement turns the lights on. It pulls you out of fog and into presence. And when your body wakes up with purpose, your mind follows. That's not inspiration. That's biology working in your favor. Movement in the morning is not about aesthetics or comparison. It's about authority over your own state. When you push your body even slightly, you build evidence that you can do hard things. And that evidence matters because the day will demand aliens. It will demand patience. It will demand courage. And courage is easier to access when your nervous system has already been challenged and regulated. When you elevate your heart rate, breathe deeply, and feel your muscles engage, you are training yourself to stay calm under stress. You are rehearsing resilience. That's why people who move consistently don't just look different, they respond differently. They don't panic as easily. They don't collapse under pressure. They've practiced discomfort on their own terms early before the world tries to force it on them. You don't need perfection to move. You need presence. 10 minutes of focused movement beats an hour of distracted effort. The power is not in how long you move, but in how deliberately you move. When you move with intention, you are telling your body, I respect you. And respect creates cooperation. Your body starts to work with you instead of against you. Stiffness loosens, breath deepens, tension releases, and clarity emerges. So many people are walking around mentally overwhelmed when the real problem is physical stagnation. They're trying to think their way out of stress when what they need is to sweat it out. Movement is a reset button built into your biology, and ignoring it is choosing unnecessary struggle. Discipline in the morning is the foundation of confidence later in the day. Confidence is not loud. It's quiet and earned. It comes from knowing you kept a promise to yourself when no one was aching. When you move in the morning, you start the day with a win and win stack. That early victory shifts your posture, your tone, your decision making. You walk into challenges already feeling capable, instead of already feeling behind. And once you know you can do one hard thing, the rest of the day feels manageable. That's how momentum works. It doesn't come from hype. It comes from follow-through. Movement is a physical declaration that you do what you say you're going to do. There will be mornings when you don't feel like it. That's the point. Movement is not about convenience. It's about commitment. Waiting until you feel ready is a trap because readiness is a byproduct of action. When you move, even when you're tired, unmotivated, or distracted, you reinforce an identity. I don't negotiate with excuses. And that identity bleeds into everything else, into your work, into your relationships, into how you handle setbacks. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget when you push through resistance. Physically, you build mental toughness without having to overthink it. You become someone who acts first and figures it out along the way. Your body carries emotion, memory, and stress. When you don't move, all of that stagnates. It piles up and eventually it shows up as anxiety, irritability, or burnout. Morning movement clears the backlog. It processes what words can't. It releases yesterday. So today doesn't start heavy. You don't move to punish your body. You move to free it, to remind yourself that you are capable, adaptable, and strong. Strength is not just about muscles. It's about self-belief in motion. And when you start every morning by honoring your body with movement, you don't just change how you feel in that moment. You change how you meet the world for the rest of the day. Silence is uncomfortable because it removes your distractions. And distractions are what most people use to avoid themselves. The moment everything gets quiet, the thoughts you've been outrunning finally catch up. Regrets, doubts, questions you've been postponing. And that's exactly why silence matters. When you wake up and intentionally choose stillness, you are choosing truth over escape. You are choosing clarity over chaos. Most people think silence is empty, but it's not. It's full of awareness, full of direction, full of answers you can't hear when your life is constantly loud. Silence doesn't give you new thoughts. It reveals the ones already shaping your behavior. And until you face those, you will keep living on autopilot, repeating patterns you don't even remember choosing. When you sit in silence in the morning, you're not trying to force calm. You're allowing it. There's a difference. Forcing calm is another form of control, another task to complete. Allowing calm is surrendering resistance. It's letting your nervous system reset after hours of unconscious tension. Your body wakes up before your mind does, carrying stress from yesterday into today. Silence gives it permission to exhale. Breathing slows, muscles soften, your heart rate steadies, and in that state, your brain shifts from survival mode to clarity mode. Decisions become cleaner. Emotions become information instead of commands. You stop reacting and start responding. This is where alignment begins. Not in hustle, not in noise, but in the quiet space where you can actually hear yourself think. The truth is, you already know what you need to do. You don't need more information. You need more honesty. Silence strips away the performance. There's no one to impress, no role to play, just you and your thoughts. And in that space, excuses sound different. They don't sound reasonable anymore. They sound like fear. You start to notice which thoughts are yours and which ones you inherited from other people's expectations. You realize how much of your stress comes from living a life that doesn't fully match who you are. Silence exposes misalignment, and that can be uncomfortable. But discomfort is not danger, it's direction. It's showing you where growth is needed and where truth has been ignored. Most people avoid silence because they're afraid of what it might ask of them. Silence doesn't yell, but it's honest. It will remind you of promises you haven't kept to yourself. It will bring up dreams you buried because they felt impractical or risky. And it will confront you with the cost of staying the same. That's why silence is powerful. It holds you accountable without shame. It doesn't judge you. It reflects you. And reflection is necessary for change. You can't correct what you refuse to see. When you sit in silence consistently, you stop lying to yourself. And once the lies fall away, action becomes simpler. Not easier, but clearer. Silence also trains patience, which is a skill most people are losing. The world rewards speed, but growth requires depth. When you sit quietly without reaching for stimulation, you are strengthening your ability to stay present without needing instant gratification. That skill changes everything. It improves focus. It improves emotional regulation. It improves relationships. You become less reactive, less impulsive, less controlled by external noise. You stop needing constant reassurance. You start trusting your own inner compass. And that trust is powerful because when you trust yourself, you don't second guess every decision. You move with conviction instead of anxiety. Stillness in the morning creates space between stimulus and response. And in that space lies freedom. Freedom from old habits. Freedom from emotional overreaction. Freedom from living your life on someone else's timeline. When you build a daily practice of silence, you are carving out a place where you can return to yourself. No matter how chaotic the world becomes, that space becomes an anchor, a reference point, a reminder of who you are beneath the roles, the expectations, and the pressure. And when you carry that groundedness into your day, you don't get pulled off course as easily. You don't lose yourself in the noise. You move through the world centered, aware, and intentional, guided not by urgency, but by truth. Your mind is the most valuable real estate you own, and every morning, it's either being built up or broken into. There is no neutral. The moment you wake up, your brain is hungry for input. And if you don't decide what it consumes, the world will decide for you. Headlines designed to provoke fear, feeds designed to trigger comparison, opinions disguised as facts, noise disguised as information. And people wonder why they feel scattered, anxious, and unfocused before the day even begins. It's not because they're weak. It's because they're mentally malnourished. Feeding your mind in the morning is not a luxury. It's protection. It's choosing to strengthen your thinking before it's challenged. Because once the day starts throwing problems at you, it's too late to decide what kind of thinker you want to be. What you consume shapes what you believe, and what you believe shapes how you act. This is not motivational talk. It's cause and effect. When you start your morning with intentional mental input, you are programming your perspective. Reading something that stretches you reminds you that growth is possible. Listening to something challenging reminds you that discomfort is necessary. Exposure to disciplined thinking sharpens your own standards, and standards determine outcomes. If your mind-eye is filled with shallow content, your decisions will be shallow. If your mind is filled with fear-based narratives, you will play small. But if your mind is fed with clarity, courage, and responsibility, you start moving differently. You stop outsourcing your thinking. You stop being easily influenced. You begin to develop an internal filter instead of absorbing everything around you. Most people underestimate how vulnerable their minds are in the morning. Your subconscious is still dominant. Habits are easier to reinforce. Beliefs are easier to accept. That's why the first information you consume matters more than you think. It sets the emotional tone, the mental pace, the internal dialogue. Feed your mind junk and you'll crave more junk all day. Feed it substance and you'll crave progress. This is how momentum really works. Not through willpower, but through environment. When you intentionally choose what enters your mind early, you reduce the mental friction you face later. Focus becomes easier. Discipline feels lighter. You're not fighting yourself all day because you aligned yourself first thing in the morning. Learning in the morning is also an act of humility. It's admitting that you don't know everything and that improvement is still required. And that humility is powerful because it keeps you sharp. The moment you stop learning, you start repeating yourself. The same ideas, the same mistakes, the same results. Feeding your mind daily keeps you evolving. It exposes why owe to better questions, not just better answers. It challenges the assumptions you didn't even realize you were living by. And when your assumptions change, your ceiling rises. Growth doesn't happen in dramatic breakthroughs. It happens through daily exposure to higher quality thinking. Quietly, consistently, relentlessly. There's a difference between consuming content and consuming wisdom. Content entertains. Wisdom transforms. And transformation requires intention. You can scroll for an hour and feel busy, informed, and stimulated yet unchanged. Or you can spend 15 focused minutes with material that demands something from you. Something that forces reflection, something that makes you uncomfortable in a productive way. That kind of input doesn't just pass through you. It stays with you. It influences how you speak, how you listen, how you decide. Feeding your mind properly in the morning is about choosing depth over dopamine, long-term clarity over short-term stimulation, substance over noise. Your mind, when properly fed, becomes a weapon instead of a liability. You start noticing patterns faster. You anticipate problems instead of reacting to them. You communicate with more precision. You waste less energy on things that don't matter. And most importantly, you become harder to manipulate by fear, by trends, by other people's opinions. A well-fed mind is grounded. It doesn't panic easily. It doesn't chase validation. It doesn't crumble under uncertainty. It knows how to pause, assess, and act with intention. That kind of mental strength doesn't come from motivation. It comes from disciplined input repeated every morning before the world gets a chance to dilute your focus. The hardest task of your day is not just a task, it's a mirror. It reflects how you deal with resistance, fear, and discomfort. Most people avoid it instinctively. They delay it, dress it up as planning, or hide behind smaller, easier wins to feel productive. But deep down they know there is one thing that matters most. One thing that would move their life forward faster than anything else. And they push it to the side. Not because they can't do it, but because it demands courage. Doing the hardest thing first is not about time management. It's about self-respect. It's you deciding that your future deserves your best energy, not whatever scraps are left after distraction, fatigue, and excuses have taken their cut. When you wake up and immediately face the most difficult task, you reclaim control over your mind. Resistance loses its power when it's confronted early. Left alone, it grows louder throughout the day. It whispers reasons to wait. It convinces you that later will be better, that you'll be more prepared, more focused, more confident. But later rarely comes with strength. It comes with depletion. Your willpower is highest in the morning. Your clarity is sharpest. Your identity is most intact. Using that window to attack what matters most is a strategic decision, not an emotional one. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, does this move my life forward? That shift alone separates leaders from drifters. Avoidance is subtle. It disguises itself as productivity. You answer emails, you organize, you research, you stay busy. But busy is not brave. Busy is safe. Facing the hardest task requires you to risk failure, judgment, and discomfort. And that's why it's transformative. Every time you do the hard thing first, you build proof that you can handle pressure. That proof compounds. It becomes confidence. Not the loud kind, but the unshakable kind. The kind that doesn't depend on praise or validation. You begin to trust yourself because you've seen yourself act with integrity when it mattered. And self-trust changes how you move through the world. You stop hesitating. You stop second-guessing. You stop shrinking when things get challenging. The relief that comes after completing the hardest task early is no. Teach just emotional. It's cognitive. Your mind clears. Background stress disappears. That constant low-level anxiety, the one that follows you all day when something important is unfinished, finally shuts up. And with it gone, your focus improves. Your creativity expands. The rest of your tasks feel lighter, more manageable. This is not coincidence. Your brain craves closure. When you give it closure on the most demanding responsibility, it rewards you with mental space. Momentum builds naturally. You are no longer dragging unfinished weight behind you. You are moving forward unencumbered. And momentum, once created, makes discipline easier. You stop pushing uphill. The day starts working with you instead of against you. There will be days when the hardest task feels overwhelming. Days when it triggers doubt, insecurity, or fear of failure. That's when this practice matters most. Doing the hard thing first trains you to act without certainty. You learn that clarity often comes after action, not before it. You stop waiting to feel ready and start trusting your ability to adapt. That mindset is essential for growth because every meaningful goal involves uncertainty. Every worthwhile pursuit demands that you move before you have all the answers. By facing difficulty early, you build tolerance for ambiguity. You become comfortable moving forward without guarantees. And that comfort becomes an advantage in a world where most people freeze when outcomes aren't clear. Procrastination is not a time problem. It's an emotional one. It's fear disguised as delay. When you choose to do the hardest task first, you are confronting fear directly instead of letting it control your schedule. You're telling yourself, I don't need perfect conditions to act. And that message rewires how you approach challenges across your life. You stop avoiding difficult conversations. You stop postponing necessary decisions. You stop running from growth opportunities because they feel uncomfortable. Discipline stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like freedom. Because every time you handle what matters most, you free yourself from the mental burden of avoidance. Easy mornings create a false sense of comfort. They lull you into thinking you're fine, that progress can wait, that urgency is optional. But comfort is expensive. It costs you momentum. It costs you potential. It costs you time you'll never get back. Hard mornings, on the other hand, build internal authority. They create a standard you live up to for the rest of the day. When you start your morning by doing the one thing you least want to do, but know you must, you set a tone that echoes through every decision that follows. You don't look for the path of least resistance anymore. You look for the path of highest return. And over time, that choice compounds into a life defined not by ease, but by freedom earned through courage and consistency.